I'm going to make duck carnitas, which is pulled, slow-cooked duck, and I'm going to serve it in some tacos. So delicious. First up, you'll need 4 duck legs. Now, duck legs are my favourite cut of duck, and the reason I love them is because they cook so well and they take on loads of flavour. Now, this is what you need to remember when you're cooking with duck legs. You want to start off with a dry pan, so don't add any oil whatsoever, and the heat is off. We're going to place the duck in the pan, so fat side down, and I'll grab my other 2 duck legs. And then we're going to gradually turn the heat up. The reason I do this is because I want to render as much fat out of the duck as possible. So on with the heat, and that's on a medium to low heat, and you'll see slowly the duck fat melt away and liquefy. So this process is going to take about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we'll prepare our onion. So just half an onion. I'm just going to take the core out of it, make it easier to slice. And I'm going to use half of the onion for this, and the other half is going to go into our salsa. Perfect. Now, I don't want the harsh flavour of the onion, so this trick is really useful. We'll just pop our onion into a bowl along with some salt. Now, the salt is going to bring out some of the moisture and just mellow the peppery spiciness, if you like, of that onion. So just give it a squish and a squash, and then that goes to the side. By doing that, we won't get that pungent raw flavour of the onion. It's going to be nice and sweet. We'll pop that to the side. Also, I'll need 2 cloves of garlic that I'll bruise. And we're just going to roughly chop. And then we'll run our knife through it just a few times. All right, done. Let's have a look at this duck. You can see all of that fat coming out of the duck, and look how crispy that is and golden. Just perfect. Last one. And that just needs just a moment on the other side just to seal it. I haven't salted it yet, so we'll add a good pinch of salt. And some pepper. All right. Now for some coriander. Usually we'd throw the roots and the stalk out, but there's so much flavour in it. As long as you give it a really good wash, it is totally usable in this first stage of cooking. So just gather them together and finely chop this. Even if you have to run your knife through it a few times, do that. But don't waste it. We're going to use the leaves for the garnish later on in the salsa, but for now all of this equals heaps of flavour, and it goes so nicely with the duck. Okay, duck is ready. We'll take it out of the pan and we'll just rest it on a plate for now. And there's quite a lot of fat in here, so I'm just going to remove some of it. We want about a tablespoon left. Perfect. And don't throw away that fat, because that makes the best chippies or any roast vegetable taste nice with that duck fat in it. So use that at a later date. In with our vegetables, and then we'll just saute this just for it to start to soften. The coriander smells so good. Now for the spices. I have a combination of smoked paprika, some cumin and some chili flakes. Now, depending on how much chili you like, you could add a teaspoon. I'm not wanting too much of it, so I'm just going to add a small pinch. Just toast off these spices. And I'll add some tomato paste. So a teaspoon of tomato paste, some chipotle in adobo sauce, which is again a chili, but it's not as harsh, has a lovely smokiness to it. So I'm just going to use 1, and we'll finely chop it. So another stir, get some sizzle. Okay, smelling great. Some vinegar. So just a teaspoon or so of vinegar and some chicken stock. And our duck can go straight back into the pot. Now there's not too much liquid in here, but that doesn't matter because it's going to cook at a low temperature. So we're going to pop this in the oven, 160 degrees for about 2 hours or until the meat falls away easily from the bone. Two hours later, and have a look how amazing this duck turns out. Golden on the top. We've got a really nice, thick, concentrated sauce, and that's because I didn't add too much liquid to this. And then, of course, the best part of this is just getting yourself 2 forks and shredding that meat away. So easy to do. You know, carnitas are usually done with beef or pork, but duck works just as well. You know what, even better because of the fat content in here. Yum-o. Okay, before we start plating this up, let's finish off this salsa, the corn salsa. This lovely corn was placed under a grill just for about 10 minutes, constantly turning it. With that high heat, you get this charred mark, which gives it a smoky flavour, and it gets so sweet. So I highly recommend doing this. You can also do it on the barbecue. And this is a great tip too. When you're taking off the kernels, instead of taking them off like this, they'll just go everywhere. It's best just to place it flat and then cut them off as is. So much easier. They don't go everywhere and we get as much off the cob of corn as possible. Great. I actually like doing it like this because we get clumps of corn as opposed to separating them. So we'll pop that into a bowl. And for your salsa, you can add many different ingredients, but I'm going to keep it super simple. Corn, some tomatoes. And for the tomatoes, I've just taken the seeds out of them. And I do that because I don't want this salsa to be too watery. So taking the seeds out is a must for this one. And we're going to cut them roughly into the same size as our corn kernels. Just turn it around, gather them up, and finely chop. Excellent. In they go. The juice of 1 lime. Lots of lime for this, and the best way to get the juice out is just to use your spoon and just twist it into the flesh, and it extracts loads of that juice. Some salt. And those onions that have been salting, look how soft and glossy they are. So we'll just drain them from the salt and then add them. Look at the colours. Colours of the rainbow. Not finished yet. We just need a few sprigs of coriander that I'll finely chop too. Okay, give that a stir. That looks great. Now for some tortillas, I'm just going to heat up a pan, and we just want to place a tortilla in the pan for a few moments on each side, and they take moments just to become extra pliable. And you do want a warm tortilla for this. These are wheat tortillas, but you could also use corn tortillas, up to you. Okay, that's good. Onto our plate, and this glorious duck, you can be quite generous with it. Carefully place it in the middle, a few spoonfuls. I love to add the skin and the meat. Both are equally as delicious. We'll spread that out. And that lovely sauce. A spoonful over the top. And now for our corn salsa. Just a spoonful over the top. Nothing else required. You don't need sour cream for this, you don't need yogurt. The duck is the hero here. Loads of flavour, the chipotle in there, a little bit of extra chili, smoked paprika, so yummy. And 4 duck legs like this would feed 8 people at least. So loads of duck for the whole family.